You've been running ads, you've been making reels, working your ass off to get short form content that's going to disappear in the next 24 hours or in the next 48 hours at max. What's the result of that? Your funnel has become as dry as the Sahara Desert, and the ads cost are rising higher than the Empire State Building. But the coaches, the consultants, the agency owners that I've been working with have been saying the exact opposite. They've been spending 1/4 the time that they used to on client acquisition, and that churn rate has reduced by about 30%. The sales calls have been a breeze to them because 80% of their clients come pre-sold. So what in the Harry Potter am I fucking talking about? It's YouTube. And if you stay till the end, I will show you exactly how all of this works and how you can get started on YouTube before it's too late. Let's get started. So before getting into the whole YouTube as a client acquisition system, you need to understand why YouTube dominates other platforms like Instagram. What is it about YouTube that is more useful to you as a business owner than it would be to create content on a platform like Instagram, which you probably use to already, right? So we're going to understand by analyzing a table of differences where we analyze approximately 5 metrics. First is audience, second is intent, third is algorithm, fourth is positioning, and the last one is ROI. So how do you deal with these metrics? The first one being audience. And how do you go on and think about audience? Audience being the most important thing here. You have to look at it from the thought process that, okay, what does a person do when they land on a specific platform? If you think about it in the perspective of YouTube, when do you go on YouTube? Just answer this question. When do you go on YouTube? You go on YouTube when you want to learn something new. When you have like a pain point that you're targeting, that you want to solve for your own self. Let's say you want to learn something to cook. You go on YouTube. Versus, when do you go on Instagram? You go on Instagram when you're looking to entertain yourself. You go on Instagram when you just want to like pass time, right? Coming on to the second point from exactly this. What differentiates both of them is the intent behind the user opening that platform. YouTube is a very pain point and search oriented platform, which makes it extremely powerful when it comes to creating content that's going to generate leads for you. Versus when it comes to Instagram, where people don't come from a perspective of solving a problem, they come from a perspective of scrolling. Therefore, there's like a high scroll intent that exists on Instagram. Next, what does the algorithm on both the platforms look like? If you were to analyze this from probably 2-3 metrics, YouTube prioritizes search, it prioritizes watch time, and it prioritizes people who make authentic content that solves problems, Versus Instagram mostly promotes virality, mostly promotes people who are going after trends because that's how their algorithm works. It makes no sense at times. Okay, what about positioning? On Instagram, the positioning of yourself is just being another creator. You go viral today, you're not going to be relevant on Instagram 10 years later, 5 years later. But if on YouTube you're able to establish like an authority-based audience around your demographic or perhaps near your demographic, that demographic is going to watch you 3 years later, 4 years later, if you're making quality content, of course. Now, the most important factor. If you're talking about the ROI, what is the ROI on both platforms? ROI on both platforms, this looks like that on Instagram, whenever you upload a short form video, its lifespan, the time where the people are recommended that video is extremely low, it's not going to be as high. But when it comes to YouTube, since there is a search in play, or what we like to call search engine optimization, SEO, same as how it goes on Google as well. It's infinite. As long as people have problems, they're going to come on YouTube. They're going to search for things. And if you position yourself in an authoritative way, solving a problem, you're going to get that ROI for infinitely, as long as possible. What next? So if you were to talk about how it fits into any marketing system, how does YouTube as a system, as a way of creating content, fit into any marketing system, whether it's ads, whether it's cold outreach, or whether it's, probably like running Google ads or something. Firstly, YouTube has a lengthy nature. I think we're all like quite aware of that because of the fact that YouTube itself has content that is very long, either 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. What that allows for is education, in-depth education, trust, pre-selling. Now, why is all of that even important, you may ask? So, what is marketing? If you were to break down the idea of marketing into its core fundamentals, the core fundamentals of marketing just looks like that you're persuading your user from one point to the other, but you're also educating them. And that sort of education is just not possible in the 30-second mark that Instagram allows you. You need that in-depth deep dive into a topic to access the mind of that person. And if you're able to do that, you're not just establishing trust, you're also like making your sales calls easier. And I'll tell you that it's not just about the fact that people are going to search and those specific people are only going to be the ones that are converting. I'll show you how even if a person is running ads, even if a person is doing outreach, why that outreach is going to complement really well with the fact that you have a YouTube channel. So let's just go on the footsteps of somebody you've just outreached, and what happens after that? When you've outreached someone, let's just say you outreach somebody for like an ad service that you provide, right? So they looked at the service, realized that, yeah, this is something I actually want. If you did your targeting well, what are they going to do? They're going to look at you from like a very skeptical perspective. When they look at you from the skeptical perspective, they're going to go and do background checks on you. They're going to go and see that, okay, does this guy, make content himself? Does he have a YouTube channel? If your YouTube channel is in your bio, that person is going to go check it out. And if your content is positioned in a way that it makes you look like that, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about, and this guy definitely knows his shit, then there's going to be an preconceived set of bias that he's going to have that, yes, this guy knows his shit. And any other guy in his DMs who is probably reaching out to him, you're going to have an advantage over them. And that advantage is exactly what makes YouTube so important. Even with ads, let's just say you probably ran a really good ad for your agency or something, right? And when people like got to know about your service or whatever, they're going to probably do the exact same process. They're going to check you out. They're going to not check you out. That's kind of weird. They're going to check your YouTube out, of course, and probably do the exact same process as went down in outreach. They're going to look at your content. And if you've structured your content in a way that it leads a person from X place to Y place to Z place, then as soon as they enter that sales call, right, what is exactly happening is they're going to come as a fan and not as a client, because I've heard this so many times at my clients as well, that whenever their prospects come on a call, their first opinion is that, oh, I watched all of your videos. So you can think the identity shift that's happening. Here is the client, here is the business owner. They watch so many of their videos, and it's just this bias that everybody has that, oh, YouTubers are a big thing, right? So he's going to look at him from a very different lens as somebody who just outreached to them. If they see that, okay, this person here creates so much content, they have a lot of views, they probably, even though views are not like the biggest demographic, they have views, they have like authority based content, they feel valuable, like they feel valued when they watch your content. They're going to come as a fan, they're going to respect you before you even like talk to them. That's kind of crazy, right? Okay, that was about it, about what is better about YouTube than other platforms like Instagram. You can probably go through this part again if you want to like dial this a bit more. Here is why most business YouTubers fumble and how you can avoid it. So first things first, a lot of YouTubers, or like the business people, the agency owners, the coaches, the consultants, they get distracted by things that don't actually matter. What do those things probably look like? Those things probably look like vanity metrics. And what are those vanity metrics? These are things that look nice on paper but don't actually get any business results. Now, what are these metrics and why you should be avoiding them? So by vanity metrics, you can probably take a look at this table right here. When you talk about vanity metrics, their views, they look impressive, of course, but guess what? Views actually don't pay you. They're just like a lot of traffic. But if that traffic is not from the right demographic, it's not going to be of benefit to you. Second is likes, subscribers, comments. Not watch time, but watch time is important to some extent, but it's still a vanity metric. But what about the business metrics? Business metrics include leads generated, conversions, client trust, brand authority, funnel effectiveness. Now I'd ask you a question. What would you rather want? 100 views with 10 conversions versus 100,000 views with probably like 0 leads. It's an easy answer that you'd want 100 views with 1 conversion, because that's making you way more money, while the 100,000 views is going to feel nice, but it's not going to lead to a lot of conversions. So that was it with the metrics. But if you had to like probably dive deep into them and understand that even if you have 100 subscribers, even if you have like less growth, because that's your demographic, right? Not all niches are going to get millions of views, because if you're targeting a specific demographic, you're likely not going to be appealing to the B2C demographic. So you're not going to get probably more than 5,000 views, 6,000 views. But if those 6,000 views are from the right people and you're able to like establish this niched virality, what I like to call, then you're doing exactly what YouTube is supposed to be doing for your business. And that's exactly why most people even choose to be on YouTube as a business owner. So what is like the 80-20 rule, which I follow, most of my clients follow, and they see a shit ton of success on YouTube. What is the 80-20 rule? 80-20 rule just simply means that with 80% of the results that you get are achieved from like 20% of the effort that you put in. And that 20% of the effort, if strategically decided to be put on the right areas, is going to be of extreme high ROI to you. Now, what are those 5 elements on YouTube that drive 80% of the results for business owners? So think of YouTube as an advertisement, because genuinely it is an advertisement that's just very strategic in nature, that just has an element of personal branding to it. So the first 5 elements, or like the most important 5 elements, are thumbnail, title, the first 30 seconds, a mid-video CTA, and of course like the end CTA. Now, why? The first thing that a person looks at is your thumbnail. And when a person looks at your thumbnail, if they're interested, if you manage to catch their attention, they're going to read the title. And when they see that, okay, this title and this thumbnail is connecting with each other, they're going to get more interested. If it's targeted at the right person, they're going to 100% click. And what happens next? The first 30 seconds. The first 30 seconds make or break a video. If you manage to firstly reassure their idea that yes, this video is not like a clickbait, and then the first 30 seconds of the video is like extremely probably like brain rot editing, if I'm not wrong. And wait, cut that out. The first 30 seconds of a video, why is that important? First 30 seconds of the video is extremely important because of like a couple reasons, you know. When a person watches their video or like clicks on your video after they've seen the thumbnail and the title, what they see there is the first 30 seconds. And this is where either they leave the video or either they stay on the video because they got really interested. And you probably used a lot of copywriting tactics here to make sure that they stay after the first 30 seconds. What's next? A mid-video CTA. Because you cannot like stop a lot of people from leaving. So you have to make sure that at the 20% or the 30% mark, as you're going to see that even I did it, you're going to add a mid-video call to action. Now, why do you add this mid-video call to action? So that you're making sure that even the people who leave early on or leave like after a certain point, even they know what product you have, even they know that, okay, this is like the call to action that you got. And of course, the end call to action being extremely important, telling the viewer to take a particular action. Now that can look different for everybody. If it's an agency owner, it's likely a lead magnet or direct, book a call with me. If it's like a coach, again, book a call with me or a lead magnet. It's like this for a lot of different types of people. Now, what is a simple YouTube strategy that you can follow as a business YouTuber to get leads for your business, to make sure that there is trust built for your brand, and to make sure that people actually want to watch your content? People are influenced by your content. Of course, your own demographic. That strategy just looks like that you need to upload really good 4 to 8 videos a month. And those 4 to 8 videos a month should be focusing on quality. The video idea should be extremely good. The idea makes half the video. And if you execute the same thing for 6 months, 8 months, you're going to be an authority in your niche. You're going to likely start to get leads way faster in like a very small amount of time. But that trust, that authority that you're going to build is going to be way stronger for you. Now, what are the most important things about all of this? Number 1 is forming content pillars. Number 2 is doing keyword research. Number 3 is having storytelling frameworks that you continuously use. And number 4 is, of course, having strategic CTAs, which you pre-decide of what to add in which video. If you want to know more about all of these things, then I'm going to be making future videos on them. And If you are interested in a particular topic, then you can tell me about it in the comments and I'm going to make a video on it. If you want to know how you can form your own content system that is completely done for you and is going to save you more than 10 hours every single month, then you can book a call with me in the description and we're going to help you figure that out. Thank you so much for watching.